Let's jump to this story from the Post Millennial. Fetterman to stay in hospital for weeks for depression treatment, senior aide. Okay, so he gets admitted to the hospital because he's lightheaded. The dude had a very serious stroke, and now he's suffering from that thing where he can't understand words anymore. He then gets lightheaded, has to go to the hospital again. Now he's depressed. Now he can't work. So what are they going to do? How long until you think Biden it's going to be, who's the governor?
Shapiro.
Shapiro? That's right. How long until he appoints Fetterman's wife
Governor of Pennsylvania.
Yes. How long until he appoints Fetterman's wife to the Senate?
Well, the good news is, and I hate to say this because Shapiro wants to run for president and be the first Jewish president. And of all the people I've heard of being the first Jewish president at the moment, Shapiro looks like the most likely. He does not appear to be crazy. Now, he was running against Trump's candidate, that Mastriano, who was completely crazy.
You think he was crazy?
Yes.
Why do you think he's crazy?
Because he's attending, how about just he attends QAnon rallies? Do not tell me you guys are into QAnon.
No, we had Mastriano on the show once.
Yeah.
I asked him if he would legalize weed. He said no, so I was kind of like,
That's it. Ian's out.
I would make it
issue.
death penalty for weed.
Oh,
So you're
would you
not
really?
supporting me either.
It's all about dosage. But I'm sorry to
The
interrupt.
libertarians are in the chat are going to lose it.
We can do that, but we do have to get to my comments on Nikki Haley. And so Fetterman is in the Senate in the first place. Never forget, because of Donald Trump endorsing Mastriano
Do you think Trump should have not endorsed anyone in the Pennsylvania race, or was Mastriano particularly divisive to the
It
voters?
was, the whole thing basically from January 11th, all of these candidates running on 2020 being stolen. How is it that I knew a year before the election, he ran on one promise, didn't keep it, not gonna win. What a shocker that he didn't win. Of course, and he was running against, a guy with senile dementia who was a moron even when he was firing on all cylinders. But so, yeah, with the crime, things looked pretty good. Only Trump could have lost that election after all of the Antifa and the looting.
Well, Republicans didn't understand ballot harvesting. They did not understand the procedural changes.
I think it's all Trump. He's lost the last 3 election cycles for us.
Yeah. When he
and the last one, the midterms, oh my gosh, things couldn't have been set up more beautifully for us.
But I think it's ballot harvesting.
That's a very bad thing. We need to do it too.
I think Lauren Boebert's district is a good example where she narrowly wins by only a few hundred votes. And you're asking yourself, whoa, how does that happen? This is like a rural conservative district. Ballot harvesting.
She's kind of nutty.
I think she's all right. We had her on the show. I think the issue is it doesn't, you don't need to convince someone to vote for you anymore. They show up, knock on the door, and say Republicans are fascists, right? Fill out the ballot, and then people go, "Well, you got it." They figured out that Democrats are low information voters and always have been. Conservatives and the factions within the right and Republican argue with each other.
Oh yes,
right. So you might think she's nutty, she might think you're nutty. And you're both trying to exist in a similar space, whereas Democrats don't know anything,
right,
and are just told to vote and do. That's why they want 16-year-old voters.
You're absolutely right.
So the only answer is ballot harvest back, I guess.
The answer is you should have to show up and vote in person. Mm-hmm. Fight your way past the Black Panthers. Go into the ballot room. Do a secret ballot. I would get rid of all mail-in ballots, and that will hurt Republicans most of all. Probably we should allow states to have, with an excuse, a mail-in ballot.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. But the Democrats, I would even be willing to sacrifice those. And look, make Election Day a national holiday. How about that? National holiday, but you have to show up in person. Because Democrats have always cheated. There are a million different ways they cheat. Ballot harvesting is one of many.
But understanding these were I'm doing air quotes for legal, because the question is constitutionality.
Yes.
In Pennsylvania, a lower court ruled it was unconstitutional to create universal mail-in voting, but it was done with the legislature, with Republicans and Democrats. And then what happens is Democrats, imagine New York City. One activist, how many doors can they knock on in 1 hour when you go into one building?
Exactly.
And Republicans have to drive I mean, if you're gonna come
No,
out
but it's
to
more
West
than that.
Virginia,
That's why what you were just saying about how many can you knock on, how many doors can you knock on in a day. That's why when they extend mail-in ballots for like 6 months before the election,
Yep.
that gives them a lot of time. They can drag a lot of time to knock on doors. You are absolutely right about that. The more time they have, and look, if they want to, I don't care. They're driving people who are, Fetterman's mentality to the poll and tell them how to fill it out. But you got one day to do all your cheating.
here's the issue I see. As I've been describing in the past couple of weeks, the United States is suffering from left hemisphere hypoxia. They say when you're on an airplane, put on your oxygen mask before you put on the mask of the person sitting next to you, because if you become hypoxic, you become delirious and you can't function. There are these videos where they'll put people in a pressurized chamber, and they'll start lowering the oxygen percentage while having them answer math questions.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. The people who are becoming hypoxic don't know they're chicken scratching and writing gibberish garbage. Their brain tells them they're correct. And then when they increase the oxygen back to normal, they go, whoa, wait a minute. What did I write? I didn't even realize. Yeah, because your brain's not working. So here's what happens. The Democrats are going after what I would describe as the hypoxic voter. People, imagine this.
That is so beautiful.
7 years of fake news about every subject.
Yeah.
And they're swimming in it. So they say your body is completely reborn every 7 years, right? Every cell in your body has changed every 7 years. These are people whose entire existence is within the confines of the media narrative fake news machine lying about everything. Mm-hmm. That is the left hemisphere of our country's brain, shriveled, withered, and hypoxic. How do you get and they're voting.
Yes.
So the problem is you will get a calm, rational, like even Bill Maher, who's a liberal, will complain about wokeness and say there's something wrong with this. He's trying to understand, but even he is somewhat trapped in those fake narratives.
He's going to be in my sane liberals club.
Right.
Oh, nice.
But so how do you convince someone? Like imagine this. Imagine you're on a plane and all of the oxygen masks drop down. Everyone on the right side of the plane puts their mask on.
Right.
All of the masks on the left are broken. And then when the people on the right are saying, put this mask on, they're going, get away from me, you fascists, and they're swinging at you. Then they say, we want the pilot to press the emergency button. You're like, no, stop. You're hypoxic. You don't know what you're
They're
doing.
like, open
You're going
the
to crash.
windows.
And that's how I view what's going on.
I love that.
That's my analogy. So the issue is, you get people like sane liberals like Bill Maher, people like me, people like Dave Rubin, former liberals, classic liberals, people who have now found themselves to becoming conservative. You will go to traditional liberals and desperately beg them to please just read the article from the New York Times that says this, and they go, no. They're
You're absolutely right.
Completely demoralized, and then they will vote
They've
for
always
Joe
been
Biden.
like that. It's a very womanly party.
Yeah.
Tim, why do you think you and some other sort of people who started left were able to put on oxygen masks, though?
Yeah.
Like, why? How come some of you are making it out? There is a same liberals club, but a majority of people can't.
Well, I think it has to do with, even if your oxygen mask is on, the signals from your brain can't travel to the rest of your body if you have no spine. So for many of these people, it just didn't work.
Yes.
There was no hope.
Well, what I mean by that is there are a lot of people who know they're lying. There are a lot of people who are liberal who are just like, hey, man, if I speak up. Look, I get messages all the time from people who are like, I really love your show. I respect what you do. And then I say, hey, man, you should speak up. I know pro athletes. And they'll message me saying like, I wish I could, but I'll lose everything. And I'm like,
No, it's true.
but I'm like, dude, you don't need to come out and wave a Trump flag.
Right.
You simply need to come
Please
out
don't.
when someone says something woke, go, I don't know about all that. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
You're
to do.
totally right.
They won't do it. They won't.
Well, they might. You got to shake them.
Some
out
of them
it.
are. Some
I
of
think
them
a lot of why you never went crazy, and like to answer your question, why some people don't get hypoxic mentally is like high altitude training. If you're constantly working the muscle, you're kind of able to
Yeah.
resist.
That's a good point.
The oxygen.
Yeah.
So for me, I was traveling around. I was doing news. I was going to Trump rallies. So when a story would come
Weren't
out,
they fun?
they were fun. And Trump's a comedian. He's hilarious. So
Not so funny anymore.
he's lost it. He's doesn't have that same comedic. Some people still really like what he's saying, but I do think he's lost a bit of it, or a lot of it, I should say. But I would go to a Trump rally, and then I would talk with a Trump supporter. And I remember I'm in Fort Lauderdale.
This is 2016, right?
2016.
Yeah, that
I'm in-
was great.
I'm in Fort Lauderdale, and I'm talking to a woman. I was living in Miami, and I think so maybe it might have been 2015. And she says, I've never voted before. I'm not a Republican. I'm an independent. But Trump he's the only person talking about issues that affect me and my family.
Yes.
So then I would go to the newsroom at Fusion and they would say, Trump is courting white supremacists. And I would go, no, the lady I met was like a construction worker or something. And they were like, that's not true. They're all Nazis. They're all racist. And I was like, no, I'm pretty sure that lady in Florida was just like one of the ladies I talked to was Hispanic. No.
Oh, Hispanics loved him in 2016.
Especially in Florida.
I spend Christmas in Palm Beach, and I was going around to Christmas parties. This was 2015, so when he first announced, and Wilbur Ross, who has a place in Palm Beach, he was like wandering around like a zombie, starstruck, and he kept going up to everyone at these Christmas parties saying, I don't understand it. We're all for Jeb, and the Hispanic help is all for Trump.
Trump, I met a lot of Hispanic people in Florida who were just like, we know what socialism is, man. Bernie scares us. And I'm like, that's not surprising to me.
2016, I thought it was like a full-time job going around to bars in New York and convincing Bernie supporters that they had to vote for Trump.
Full-time job or full-time hobby? Because I feel like you would have so much fun doing that.
Well, you can love your job.
But between, among the three of them, actually among all the candidates, Bernie and Trump were the closest, at least in what Trump said.
Yeah, Trump was great on the campaign trail. I mean, I still didn't expect him to win. I thought for sure the military complex had him down. Hillary had it. And then when he won, I was like knocked out of breath. But then he went on script. Right after he got elected, he started reading off a prompt. And he hadn't done it the entire time he was running. And I was like, this guy's just a sham, isn't he? He's just a fake. And then he made John Bolton one of his dudes.
Yep.
And the war machine moved on. He did get us out of Trans-Pacific Partnership. I don't know if he realized the level that the liberal economic order was planning to become the new world order.
No. It's not like, don't give me we tried. Too bad he wasn't president. He didn't try. He didn't care. He wanted to sit in bed and tweet. That Trans-Pacific Partnership, I never told anyone this because I'm very, I'm a vault if I talk to a politician, but it leaks like 2 months later, so I can say it now. I went to see Trump like February of 2017 after he was elected, and I just stood at the Resolute desk and yelled at him for 15 minutes. And I didn't use the F word first, but once he used it, was that flying? So I think the entire West Wing heard it, and that's how it eventually leaked. But Trans-Pacific Partnership, I said, what are you doing? Where is it? You haven't done any. You're not starting on the wall. You haven't done anything with Trans-Pacific Partnership. And he didn't know. He didn't care. Kim Kardashian was his next appointment.
Did you feel like that was the problem with Trump's time in office, that he didn't have enough people pushing him to keep his campaign promises? You don't think he cared?
Who hires the people?
But
he brought in Jared Kushner.
Yeah,
he did. Look, he ran for president before. At this point, Tim Pool was in 6th grade. When Trump first ran for president,
What year was 2000?
I don't know. When was he running on? No, because it was
Obama.
Reform Party, right?
Yeah, and what did he run on? He ran on Obama not being born in this country. So he activates
Hannah Claire
the
is
crazy.
younger than I am, mind you.
She knows that. She's known me for a long time.
He activates the crazies. It doesn't work. The 3 elections since 2016 haven't worked. Activating the crazies this way, that way, the election was stolen. The one time he won was when he ran on my book, Adios America. It was just something he thought that might work. And so he ripped off the arguments in a rather stupid and ignorant way. Still, he was making the arguments. I would write in Trump We Trust again, because given the options, but he believes none of it. He understands none of it. Of course he could have hired the
My question is, who gave him your book, right? Like, I feel like he must have at one point been around people, but who was like, you should read this book, it's a good idea, right? Because it was a strong book.
He knew when he ran, and I was making fun of him on the when he ran the first time on the Obama birth certificate. One of my friends was a reporter in New York, and he said he's reporting on Trump, and he was threatening to run for president, and he's talking about the Obama birth certificate. And my friend, I think he was a New York Times reporter. Anyway, he emailed me and said, everybody else who says you're wrong about the birth certificate, he's denouncing, he's calling these horrible names, and somebody yelled out, hey, Ann Coulter says, whatever I had said about him being completely wrong. It was a crazy idea. And my friend said he started to attack because that was the mode he was in. Oh, I know what it was. It was specifically Ann Coulter says you're never going to run. And he starts to do the attack and then pulled back and said, well, she'll just have to wait and see. So he knew to be careful about crossing me, even back then. And he had invited me to lunch, which I went to only because I wanted, when I walk on the beach in Palm Beach, to jump over and go in the swimming pool. And so he had been appealing to me. I think he had just like this animal sense of she says things that are popular with Americans.
Yeah. Interesting.
But I think that was the end of it. He obviously did not care about immigration.
But he didn't come through with his immigration platforms, but was polling pretty well up until COVID. Do you think that the American public also forgot that he had promised to do all these things? I mean, what was
I think the only votes Trump got were opposition votes.
Really?
To Biden and the craziness and Antifa and Black Lives Matter. And even though all he did was tweet law and order, ! At least he's not these people.
Yeah, but the Black Lives Matter summer was like pretty crazy. That wasn't enough to push him over the edge.
He didn't do anything.
Yeah, he couldn't. He should have brought in the military.
Yeah, he should have.
Portland, especially after 100 days of firebombing a federal building, and he didn't do anything about it.
They burned down the police precincts in Minneapolis, and by the way, who suffers the most? People in the bad neighborhoods.
I agree. I can't get down with anyone that's platform is that's bad. That's worse. So put me in. Like, for why? Give me a reason to live.
Yes.
Not just a reason to push death away.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.